So 2 points we are going to cover and we need to understand very clearly. And those 2 points are what is base year and what is current year. Right? So whenever a particular year which is taken as reference year, or it is normally called as reference period, why we means whenever we are trying to refer something, it means I'm going for the comparison. And comparison, that is year with respect to which it is to be made. And that year with which I'm going to compare, that is nothing but it is called as base year. Denoted by suffix 0. It's not O, it is 0. Now current year, the year for which the comparisons are made or it is desired to be made, it is called as current year. And it is denoted by suffix 1. So 0 is for base year and current year it is 1. As we are going to deal with the price and the quantity primarily in this particular chapter, so let's understand what is P0. The price of a commodity in the base year. P1 is price of the commodity in the current year. Right? As we have taken the suffix 0 and 1, 0 for the base year, 1 for the current year. So that's the reason we are saying P0 is price of a commodity in the base year and P1 is the price of a commodity in the current year. Coming to Q0, Q stands for quantity. So 0 stands for base year. So that is quantity of a commodity consumed or purchased. Both, it can be consumption can be there and purchasing can also be there during the base year. Similarly, Q1 is quantity of a commodity purchased or consumed during the current year. Coming to weight, W. It is nothing but the weightage which is assigned to a commodity. And how the weightage is assigned? It is assigned with respect to the importance from the group of information that we have. I is simple index, or it is also called as price relative. And how do I calculate I? It is nothing but P1 upon P0 into 100 because we are representing in terms of percentage. That is why we are multiplying it by 100. I01, it is price index. Q01, it is quantity index. Okay. Next is the methods of constructing index number. There are two methods. One is unweighted, which is also called as simple index number, and other is weighted index number. Under unweighted index number, I have two types. First is called as aggregative method and other is called as average of price relative. Average of price relatives. And whenever I'm encountering the word relative, it means I'm talking about relative index basically. So it is average of price relative index. Second is weighted index number. It's weighted aggregative method and second is weighted average of price relative. The formula is, it's already there, summation of P1 upon summation of P0 into 100. Whereas for average of price relative, it is summation of I upon N. For weighted aggregative method, what is happening is I'm multiplying the values of price of the base year with the weight. Similarly, price of the current year with the weight. So this summation of P1W is nothing but total of the product of the price of the current year with its corresponding weight. Similarly, summation P0W is nothing but total of the product of the price of the base year with its corresponding weight and then multiplying by 100. Weighted average of price relative, it's summation of IW. And how do I calculate I? I is equal to P1 upon P0 into 100 for every individual commodity. P1 upon P0 into 100 is the relative index for individual commodities. Whereas aggregative method when I'm talking about, it is summation of P1 upon summation of P0. It looks like same, but there is a difference of the summation sign. So under aggregative method, first of all, I'm finding the total of the price of the current year and total of the price of the base year. And then I'm moving ahead for the calculation. Whereas for relative index, for every quantity or every commodity, I'm finding the index first, then multiplying it with its corresponding weight, then dividing by the total of the weights. And what does N stand for? N is nothing but number of commodities. N is number of commodities. Okay. So this is a question wherein we have to find the index number by the two methods, that is aggregative method and average price relative method. The commodities given are rice, wheat, pulses and sugar, and which are expressed in the unit kilograms. Price in rupees, which is given for year 1999 and 2004. In this question directly, the price base year is not given, current year is not given. The previous of the two is considered as a base year. So this value is nothing but P0 and this is P1. So the question can be given in terms of the year or directly P0 and P1 can be mentioned as well. So when I'm moving ahead with the calculation part, what I'll do, I'll be making the table again. So in the next table, I'm not writing the unit, I'm simply moving on with the commodities. So it's price P0 and P1. Okay. What I want is summation of P0. For the aggregative method, the formula that we had discussed was summation of P1 upon summation of P0. So I want summation of these two columns, summation P0, P1. Next, I need to calculate I. And what is I? I is equal to P1 upon P0 into 100. So that is going to be calculated for every quantity individually, that is for the rice, wheat, pulses and sugar. I'm writing one value, that is 8.50, that is P1 upon P0 into 100. And that gives me the value as 212.5. Similarly, I need to calculate the other values. So it is 7 upon 3 into 100. So this value is coming out to be 233.3. 30 upon 8 into 100, that is 375.0. And this is 13 upon 6, which is equal to 216.6. When I'm finding the total, for this. So this is to be written as summation of I. And this total is coming out to be 1037.40. This is 58.50. And this value is 21. Now, let's find out the values, what is required or what is being asked in the question. Therefore, When I'm finding the index by aggregative method, the formula is summation of P1 upon summation of P0 into 100, which is equal to 58.50 upon summation P0, that is 21, into 100. And this value is 279.04 rounding off. Similarly, if I'm finding by average price relative method, the formula we have discussed is summation of I upon n, summation of I upon n, which is equal to 1037.40 upon n, where n represents the number of commodities. So in our case, there are 4 commodities, which is equal to 250. 259.35. Fine. So index number of aggregative method has certain limitations also. It has got certain limitation. What is the first limitation? It is not independent of unit of measurement. It is not independent of unit of measurement. And second is, it gives equal importance to all the items. Because the weightage is not mentioned, it means what? That all the commodities have been assigned equal weightage. So the first drawback is improved in the index number calculated by the average method. It is by the average method. Fine. So we'll be taking one more question to understand this. Okay, so please correct this particular calculation. There was some mistake into this. It is 278.57. So this question, we have to find the index by weighted aggregative method and weighted average of price relative method. The information is given with respect to 4 commodities A, B, C, D, and the weightage is also been given along with the base year price and the current year price. So moving on to the solution. First column 14, 16, 27, 44. Second is 5, 55, 43 and 11. Second, P1 is 21.50, this is 79.00, 87.00 and 32.50. When I'm calculating the index I, relative index I, in the previous question we saw I is equal to P1 upon P0 into 100. So it's 21.50 upon 5 into 100, that gives me the value as 420. Similarly, the other values are 143.63, 206.97, 295.45. Coming to P0W, P0 into W, that is 13 5 is 65. Similarly, 16 into 55, it gives me 880. This is 27 into 43 is 1161 and 44 into 11 is 484. Similarly, P1W, that is 21.50 into 13, 273. Similarly, the other values are 1264, 2403 and 1430. I'm missing out one more column, so I'll write it down.
Sir, in I column, first value will be 430.
430.
Yes.
Okay. 5 4 is 5 3 yeah, it's 430. One column which I had missed out is IW. So it's 430 into 13. I is 430 into 13. That's how much?
Double 590.
Okay, 5590. What about other values? It's 143.63 into 16. That is 2298.08. Next value 5588.19, and next is 12999. It's 12999.8. Plus taking the total 2298.08 plus 5588.19 plus 12999.8. It's coming out to be 26476, right? 0.07. What is summation W?
100.
Summation summation I anyway I don't need it basically. Let's go for summation P0W. 2590 and this is 5370. So quickly let's solve. Weighted aggregate index number, which is equal to summation of P1W upon summation of P0W into 100, which is equal to 5370 upon 2590 into 100, and that's coming out to be 207.335. Okay. And the second one is weighted average of price relative. Which is equal to summation of IW upon summation of W. Summation of IW we have calculated as 26476.07 upon summation of W is 100. That gives me the answer as 264.76. Rounding off to 2 decimal places. So in this lecture we have discussed two types of index number, that is simple index and weighted index. Simple index by the aggregative method and average price relative method. Whereas under the weighted index, we have learned by weighted aggregative method and weighted average of price relative. Fine. So in the next lecture, we'll be discussing 4 more types, that is Laspeyres index, Pash index, Fishers, and Davis-Boyles. Along with that, we will go also. Is that fine? So that's all for the day. See you in the next lecture.